Submarina here. I know I haven't posted a video in a while, but I'm actually going to do something a little different today. I'm going to teach you how to sell a pen to a perfect stranger and kind of walk through the steps on, a normal sales pitch. And the thing is about a good sales pitch, it doesn't sound like one. Okay? Nobody likes to be sold anything, and that's the number one rule of sales. You can't sound like you're selling. And nobody likes to be sold to. People like to think that things are their own decision. And essentially that's what you're doing. You're helping them make a decision based on what they're in the market for. So basically, a sales pitch always needs to start off with questions. You cannot start off saying how great the product is. I'm not going to start saying, this is the most amazing pen, like you need this pen because, it's so rare and it's orange and all of this. The more you talk, the more impulse to buy drops. So the less you talk, the more, they're actually making the decision on their own. So I would start off the pitch like, how long have you been in the market for a pen? What kind of pens do you normally like? What color pens do you like? Do you like felt tip or do you like clicky pens? And they're going to be like, oh, I like blue pens. I like clicky pens. I actually have this pen at home I've been using for a while or what have you. So you're like, okay, perfect. Here you go. And I would hand the product to the person and say only 2 to 3 points about that product. So I'd be like, oh, awesome. So this is actually a clicky pen. You said you use those, right? And get them agreeing with you as much as possible. It's called a qualifying question. You like clicky pens, right? Oh yeah, you said you like blue pens, didn't you? Oh, here's a blue pen. And then you go right into the price point. You're like, normally it's this much. Right now there's a deal today, it's this much. A lot of people are picking them up. I would always tell people that, I would include words like everybody, people have been picking these up because they're really beneficial. Did you want one for you or one for yourself? So people want what other people have. So it's called greed factor. It's called the Jones effect. So let's say I had somebody earlier in the day that had picked up like 5 pens. I would use that as a testimonial, be like, yeah, there's this one man who picked up 5 because there's such a great deal today. Did you want to do the same as he did, or did you want to just stick with 2? Now, the reason you assume that they're going to buy it is because you want a clear, definitive answer at the end of the pitch. You don't want to, I'll think about it, or maybe, or I'll come back, or I have to ask my wife, because that doesn't give you a definitive answer. That means you did not present the product in the right way and that they feel pressured. If they feel pressured, they're going to give you an excuse. If they feel confused about the product, they're going to give you an excuse versus a no. Because a no is okay. That means that you presented it effectively. You asked some questions about it. They still don't need one, and there's nothing you can do about it. A lot of salespeople will sit there and try to convince you that you need something, and that is not, only a fool sells like that. What you do is present the product, you ask the person questions about them because you're trying to help them find what they need, and then you tailor what they need to the product. Okay, like let's say you have what they need, perfect. That's what you put in their hand. You place the product in their hand. Okay, and now the reason why you place the product in their hand is because it creates a sense of ownership. So I'm sure you guys have gone, shopping for a car before. The reason they have you go inside of the car and test drive it is because you feel like you own it, right? So if a salesperson ever puts something in your hand, it's product in hand. That's what it's called. It's a strategy. Because once you have it in your hand, you feel like you own it, right? Now, let's say they weren't interested in the product. You would take the product out of their hand, be like, okay, no worries, think about it, and I'll be here until, X, Y, and Z. Or it's only, available for this price for this long. And sometimes, that'll actually make them be like, no, actually I want it, because you took it out of their hand, so they feel a sense of loss. So when it comes down to sales, like, the thing you don't want to be is pushy. Okay, you don't want to try to sell anyone anything. You want to genuinely want to get to know what they're looking for, what they're into, if they like pens, if they have pens at home. And, that way you can actually qualify what you say according to that rapport that you built with them based on those questions that they answered for you. Because if you don't ask questions at the beginning of whatever you're trying to sell, at the beginning of the pitch, you're going to lose them and they're going to ignore you or walk away from you, because it's kind of like if someone's on the telephone for a long time, on the phone and they're just babbling on, you tune them out. People will tune you out and they're going to assume that you're trying to sell them something, which you are, but it's the mentality that you're just showing them the product, showing them what you have, asking them about themselves, and that's it. And the pitch shouldn't last, it's called 5 steps to a conversation. It really, it's real short and simple. Ask them a couple questions, tell them 3 things about it, tell them the price, and assume the sale. Be like, how many do you need? Say, how many do you need? Not want, because everybody wants stuff. How many do you need today? You create a sense of urgency and you create a need. And that's what Leonardo DiCaprio, or, I forgot his name in Wolf of Wall Street, but that's what he says. You have to create a need for the pen. He goes, sell me this pen. You can sell anybody anything as long as you're genuinely trying to find out what it is that they're looking for. So I'm actually going to be posting some videos on sales strategy. There's so many details that go into it, and it's actually something I'm very passionate about. I find it very, interesting. I've always loved sales and the psychology behind it. And that's what I do blog about as well. When I talk about the pharmaceutical companies and everything like that, I think they're overusing sales strategy and they're using it, I'm not going to go on a rant, but, that's when I get into, pharmaceutical lobbying and everything like that. But yeah, anyway, if you ever need to sell a pen, I hope this video is helpful and you have a great day.